and welcome back to my channel. I'm Leah Renee, and this is Drab to Fab Lifestyle, where we transform our lives from drab to fab. No, literally. So, since I did the same, I think I should do a video about that, how I literally went from drab to fab. Maybe I'll keep that in mind's eye for future. But on today, this particular video is going to be another spirituality video. For some reason, Spirit keeps leading me this way with this particular channel. I am not trying to preach to y'all, but I bring y'all the videos and the topics as Spirit brings them to me, okay? So this video is going to be, as the title says, how to set up your altar. People have different names for them: the spiritual altar, your ancestral altar. There's a lot of different names, but the overall concept, the overall ideology is that it is your altar, okay? Now, I'm going to obviously break down what an altar is, why we use the altar, where the altar comes from, and just a little bit of the background information, because as you guys know, I don't like to just come up in front of this camera and be beaten down what Leah does. Leah has facts and basis off of where she, what she comes up with that she shares with y'all, okay? That's it, girl. I'm just a vessel, okay? I'm just a vessel to pass the 411 along. So that's what I'm going to do. All right? So before we get into all of the information, because as you guys know, I have notes on top of notes, okay? This is going to be really good and jam-packed and very informational. If this does not interest you, if you are one of those people who are not into spirituality and you really just want to change your life from drab to fab on the physical portion, this video is not for you. Click out. But if you want to transform your mind as well and your spirituality, then stay here. Okay? So, without further ado, if you are not following this page, if you're not subscribed to this page, make sure that you click the bell and hit that subscribe button so you know when I am going to be posting new videos. I typically do it about once a week, sometimes twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week, but at least one video a week gets posted. If you are not following my Instagram pages, make sure you do that as well. Manifesting.Leigha Renee. I post lots of goodies there. Some of the crystals that I use, some of my just fun life, and everything of that nature. Then we got Drab to Fab Lifestyle, which is the main business page where you will see some of the vegan eats, some of our merchandise, and that's the fitness page. Oh my gosh. Then we have the hair extensions, the raw Indian hair extensions. We have that page as well. And the lashes and the swim. The opulent crystals, they can be ordered within via a message on a DM or a email. Whew. Baby, that was a lot, okay? But like I said, I just want us all to transform from drab to fab. So, enjoy this intro, and I'm popular. Enjoy this intro, and I will be back in no time. I felt like dancing, so I had to have a little dance break before we get started. Hey, waist snatch. Whoop, whoop. Get you a waist strainer, boo. You ain't got no waist strainer. Make sure you go to the link in the bio on the Instagram. Click that little website and order your waist strainer, okay? Anyway, so how to set up an altar. Okay? Whew. Okay. In our culture, oftentimes we don't do something just because it's not in the Bible. So when I came up with these notes and when I came up with this video, I wanted to make sure that I bring some information from the Bible as well, because I know that a lot of times within our culture, because of conditioning, folks don't want to do something if it's not in the Bible. When really, in all actuality, as we know, the Bible is just another book that we are supposed to be using as a tool, okay? We're supposed to use it as a tool to continue to vibrate high. It is a wonderful starting space when it comes to gaining knowledge. But with that being said, we are supposed to seek and search and find beyond the Bible. Now, just like any other books that we read, it is just a reference when maneuvering through this thing called life. So, today we're going to be discussing how to set up an altar, what is an altar, why we set up an altar, okay? Now, what is an altar, okay? An altar, according to the dictionary Merriam-Webster, the table in a Christian church at which is used for religious and other religions alike, especially for making sacrifices or offerings to a deity, okay? So in layman's terms, in religious cultures, okay, it is a table used for rituals, okay? And make for rituals and making sacrifices and offerings to their particular deity. Now, a lot of times people don't really know what the word deity means, so I got that for you. Deity. Deity is a god or goddess in divine status, quality, or nature. The creator and supreme being in a monotheistic, religion such as Christianity. Okay. Now, a lot of times people call themselves goddesses. I know on your goddess journey, on your your path to goddess vibrations, okay? That is because they identified the creator that is within them, okay, making them ultimately a goddess, okay? Now, religion. What is religion? Because I know I use the word religion a lot in there. Now, if you have not watched any of my other videos, you do know that what I believe is not a religion. Religion is man-made. It is typically, this is my own definition, obviously, first, okay? And then I'm going to give you the actual definition according to the dictionary. But religion is basically something that becomes a practice, that becomes... nowadays, it's used to control, to put strict rules on people and basically control them. That's what it is these days. It's not a faith. Faith is, now the religious practices that you do can stem from your faith, but it's not what it is, okay? So, according to the dictionary, religion is a cause, principle, or system of beliefs held to which adore and faith. Commitment or devotion to religious faith observations. A personal set or institutionalized system of religious attitudes, beliefs, and practices. Okay? So that's basically the same thing I just said in terms of there are certain standards and rules and guidelines placed before you based on a religion or not a cult, okay, but a sector of individuals that basically institutionalize some dang on rules, okay? So, my faith in Creator will still exist even without the Christian faith, okay? As I allow my religious faith to be an extra bonus by showing Creator through a routine my continued support and faith, I participate in religious practices as a mere way of showing appreciation and devotion to living the life afforded to me by Creator, okay? Now, what I mean by that is that, as I stated before, or as I continue to state, is what I believe is my faith, okay? So if it's my faith and I continually do certain religious rituals, such as, I do my altar work every day. I do my meditation. I do pay my tithes. I do occasionally, a couple times out the month, I do go to the actual building of the church. Now, just because you choose not to do that within your personal faith does not make you any less of a believer in Creator, okay? That's just how I choose to use my faith and enact certain religious customs within that, okay? So that's why it's very important to understand that while on your spiritual journey is yours and yours alone. Your religious practices that you participate is your own, okay, decision what to do with your faith, okay? Don't let nobody tell you what to do with your faith. Don't do that. Don't, okay? Now, altars are found at shrines, temples, and other churches and places of worship. They are used in religions such as, now this is very important, Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, Judaism, until the second destruction of the second temple, which is a lesson for a whole nother day. Okay, we're not gonna do that. But it's also it was prevalent in it was prevalent in many historical faiths, such as the Roman and Greek and Norse, okay? Now, I know that was a lot of information to grasp in like one big breath, but as we know about religion, if you are watching this video, you have honestly probably been studying religion or studying faith and spirituality for some time now. Now, what we have come to know is that all faiths, majority of faiths, they derive from the same thought or same ideology, okay? Ideology means ideas, basically, okay? Basically, they all derive from the same, but when you think about different cultures, they were transformed to fit certain cultures. Why you get different denominations and different actual, different readings of the Bible, different just different practices, okay? Or different practices of the books and the scriptures, just everything. That's how you get into differences when you get into the culture. But if you think about it and you actually really dissect it, it's all the same, okay? Many people use public altars in congregational services, but oftentimes people go to experience solitude even during off hours. Imagine having your own altar in your own home devoted to your family and your personal growth. Being able to place intent on your own altar that you have access to 24/7. Okay? So as we expressed, we know that altars are used from most of religions, okay? Except a lot of the New Age religions. So all of the basics, like the beginning religions, we know that altars are used there, right? So if we know that, we can kind of deduct that at the end of the day, these things have been helpful, okay, for all people, okay? So imagine having this helpful tool in your own home that, you don't have people falling out on all every week, okay? You don't have that type of energy. Some of the folks who bring that energy into church and be falling out, and, I don't have nothing against how everybody prays or whatever, do you, boo? Some people got evil spirit energy on them when they're doing this because they just want to show out, okay? Now, imagine not even having to be worried about somebody else, and they entertaining ways in the church, okay? Imagine having a place where you can place your gifts, okay? Your personal tithes on before you decide to commune with the congregation. Imagine that feeling to be able to come home from work and, after you cook your food, you have the opportunity to offer to your spirit guides, okay? To the folks that's out here in the spirit realm rocking with you, okay? Imagine it. Imagine it. Now, don't get me wrong. It's cool to have the energy, because sometimes the idea is that the people who are at the church, obviously, they all have good energy. That is the idea. So you do have the opportunity to gain, a surmount of energy. But to really tap in and place your own intentions on your altar, imagine that, okay? So, what exactly does one do at their altar? Okay, that is, I guess, a question too. Okay, so a lot of times people do different things. Like it really all depends, and we're gonna get into all of the specifics here in just a moment. But it's very important to understand who you're basically communicating with when you're at your altar. Now, since we know that Creator is here, okay, since we know that Creator is here, we oftentimes don't necessarily have to go into our altar, but it's basically like a center place within your home that I'm going to show reference within that place. We will commune with other light workers in the spirit realm. Many times one references this to their ancestors. However, sometimes the people who are your spirit guides are not necessarily a part of your ancestral line. A lot of times people who did leave the physical realm, they didn't necessarily have people who are still on this earth, but they like your spirit and they rock with you, so rock with them. Okay, so whenever I go to my altar, I always make sure that I make reference to my ancestors, known and unknown, but also anybody else in the spirit realm who want to see me do better. This for you. Take it. Okay. What's this? Okay, so that's that, and then I told you I got a lot of information, so I just want to make sure that I put it all out there. Oh, okay. So, prayers of petitions is one of the main things that go on the altar. Now, these are typically written on white pieces of paper, and one day I will show how to write a petition because certain people do it in certain different ways, but you really just come from where you are with a lot of the spirituality things. Now, when you get to expanding your spirituality, you find things that work better. And so this channel is not by any means to tell you how to do your spirituality, but I do like to show what I do because sometimes people need a starting place and a starting point to get theirs kick-started. So maybe one day I'll show how to write a petition. But basically a petition is to show gratitude, to basically ask. You're asking for it. So you have gratitude and then you ask for what you're seeking. And that's pretty much what a petition is. You do your candle work here, which is also dealing with the petition because oftentimes you place your petition underneath your white or green candle or red or whatever colors, which I will do a candle video in the near future if you guys want one of those. You just got to kind of let me know what you're needing. Otherwise, I'll just follow with what the Spirit goes with in terms of order and things of that nature. Okay? So yeah, gratitude practices. And then it is the space in your home that serves as a spiritual center where one can focus on being your highest self. So I do a lot of my meditations at my altar because your body and your ego and your subconscious, just pretty much, they all know how to work together, but you have to be able to center yourself. And to me, some of my most amazing moments in life happen at my altar just because I identified this as my center. It's kind of weird, but I know it sounds a little like hocus pocus, but it's real life, okay? It's real life. Okay, and a place for offerings, many burnt offerings or food offerings I'm going to get into a little of the things that I place on my altar a little bit coming up here soon, okay? So, burnt offerings, okay? So, since recently I received my ancestor money in the mail, or my spirit money, or my heaven money, whatever you want to call it, in the mail, finally, I've been waiting. I've been really excited, but then Spirit is telling me to make sure you explain what burnt offerings are, okay? So, burnt offerings were used and illustrated since the Bible days. The term is first used in the sacrifices of Noah. A sacrifice was partly burnt and most of it eaten in communion at a sacrificial meal. Typically, animal sacrifices twice daily. Okay? We're going to get into that a little bit too, because y'all know how I feel about the animals of today. Okay? So, there are various scriptures referencing such. However, I'll just touch base on a couple of them here. So, the first one we're going to talk about is Deuteronomy 33:10. They shall teach your ordinances to Jacob and your law to Israel. They shall put incense before you and whole burnt offerings on your altar. Remember that. Okay. Genesis 8:20. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord and took of every clean animal and of every clean bird, offered burnt offerings on their altar. Now, this particular one speaks to veganism, okay? Now, y'all know I am a practicer of the vegan life, okay? And I am always trying to urge y'all in today's society to eat vegan, okay? Now, there are multiple reasons why, which I will get to in the near future. But one of the main reasons here that is illustrated is the word clean, okay? Clean. Now, yes, these burnt offerings were half eaten after they were offered. So, if that is the case, then that means that we know that people were consuming meat. Now, with this being said, just because they were consuming them does not negate the fact of the word clean. Now, when we get into 2019 and it comes to animals and animal consumptions, we know that these animals are not slain out in the backyard of your house. So they are oftentimes injected with GMOs and other things of that nature that are harmful for your body, which therefore does not make them clean anymore. Now, when we get into plants and things of that nature, true enough, they do spray a lot of insecticide, on these plants and things of that nature. However, obviously they're not really injecting these particular plants and beans if you're getting freshly grown plants. Now, if you decide to go slay you some animals, do you, boo. Get you a farm and do you, okay? Do you. But you should also really think about that particular animal and the energies that was on that animal as you killed it. Okay? Now, I know that was a little tangent about veganism, but for some reason the people they love them some meat and they just gonna keep eating it. But, hence the word clean. And in the Western culture, we know that these animals ain't clean. Now, I know that was a lot to comprehend and think on, so we say that for the future. But try it. You love it, okay? Now back to these offerings. Okay. So, now that we have learned how altars are used, why they are used, and who they're used by, we uncover that just like many other things, ego allows people to call things evil due to ignorance and fear. So as the title says, how does one set up this altar that we just spoke about? It's simple, really. Whatever spirit leads you to do. Now, spirit, you can pretty much have conversations in your head, okay? And spirit will lead you and guide you. What do I want to put on here today? What do I want to offer here today? I won't show you mine because mine is sacred to me and private, but I will express the starter basics you should know. Many start with identifying who their spirit guides are, who their ancestors are, and they add a photo of them on the altar. I think I have like my mom's ID or something on my altar, or some people put their obituaries, just something to show reference to a particular one that they want to show reference to mainly, and then the other ancestors, they can just show reference to them via vocally. Okay. Also, you can expect to see an emblem or a symbol, maybe their card keys, maybe a Bible, turn to their favorite scripture, etc. It's not necessary, but it's often done. It's just an extra little, push. You don't necessarily have to have a table. Some people don't really have that much space in their house, but you can find somewhere to put your altar. You can find somewhere. You don't have to have a table. Some people put the white tablecloth down. You don't necessarily have to do that either. Spirit will meet you where you are, okay? Now, just because you say you can't do something and go above and beyond, Spirit knows that too, because they understand effort, okay? Incense burning, as we spoke about in the scripture. Incense, Deuteronomy 33:10, okay? We spoke about incense. Now, within incense, we think about all of the 4 elements that are supposed to be on your altar. Now, you can get to the sage and Paleo Santo. And the incense, those are air elements, okay? Now, the Paleo Santo and the sage, obviously, it cleans and purifies the area, okay? So then you have some of the earth. Now, some people go outside and pick up dirt and stuff like that. I don't play in dirt. So for earth, I use my crystals, because obviously we know crystals come from earth. Now, you can do both if you like, but yeah, I choose to just put my crystals there, okay? Now, water. Now, a cup of water is very important, obviously, for the water element, and the candle is the fire element, okay? Now, also, you could put on there alcoholic beverages that your loved one enjoyed, glass of wine, whatever they enjoyed, okay? You can also put some of their favorite foods, some of their favorite recreationals, whatever that they enjoy. Then, in terms of the burnt offerings, now this is when you get into your sigil burnings. This is when you get into your petition burnings. This is when you get into your heavenly currency burnings. Now, as we know, heaven is not up there. Heaven is in the spirit realm. That is what heaven is, okay? So when you think about burnt offerings, okay, you think about the currency that they can spend. Now, you can put your money on the altar. Obviously, they're not going to be able to use that, okay? Now, that's just not what they're going to use. Now, when you come to burning heavenly currency, you can break generational curses. They could be, I don't know what the spirit realm looks like. We don't know what it looks like, because I'm in the physical realm. But when you think about burning this heavenly currency, you imagine and you believe that it is helping them past, present, and future, okay? Now, when it comes to the ancestor money, some people who you could read more on or watch more on, if you don't want to just pay attention to me, is Pretty Boss TV, my girl, okay, bomb, 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 and Lee Myers, okay. You can also, if you want to take my word for it, that's cool too. You can go to Amazon and just type in Ancestor Money and you can order you some from there, okay. Now, whatever one places on their altar, it should basically just come from heart. Okay? Everything we do in life should come from heart and love, and what you receive back will be from that same place. I really jam-packed a lot of this video. I'm going to get out of here, okay? I really want y'all to vibrate as high as possible. And trust me and believe me when I tell you, baby, get you some of that ancestor money, okay? And burn you some of that on your altar, okay? You will change your life, okay? Get you some white paper and get you a white candle and show some gratitude every now and then, and that will change your life. Meditate. Show reference to Creator and Creator's workers in the light realm that are here to help us and to guide us. Go to your altar, ask questions. Literally use it as a tool to help center and zen. Okay? So, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. As y'all know, I just want to help everybody go from drab to fab, and make sure that you stay tuned for the next video coming up soon. I haven't come up with the topic yet, but obviously we did some spirituality today, so I'm sure we'll do something a little less serious, if you will, on the next video. But as always, I love you guys, and stay blessed. To worship is sexual.